That afternoon, I was sitting on a crowded bus during rush hour. Everyone was tired. Everyone was staring at their phones or looking out the window as if there was something more important out there than the person sitting beside them. I sat there, my back slightly hunched, my hands resting on my knees with a very familiar feeling, the feeling of being surrounded by many people, yet not truly being there. No one looked at me. No one avoided my gaze. No one noticed that I existed. To be honest, I had grown used to that. At this age, you slowly learn how to make yourself smaller. You speak less. You move more slowly. You try not to take up anyone's space. And then a stranger sat down next to me. I didn't know who he was. We had never met. He didn't offer a polite smile or make small talk. He simply turned toward me, looked at me for a moment, and asked a very simple question. "Are you doing okay today?" That was all. Nothing more. He didn't wait for a long story. He didn't act curious. But that question made me pause. I didn't answer right away, not because I didn't know what to say, but because it had been a very long time since anyone had asked me that. I am 79 years old. At this age, people usually ask you about your illnesses, your medication, whether you need help with anything. But very rarely does anyone ask if you are okay. That man passed through my life for just a few minutes on a noisy bus, while I had grown accustomed to entire days going by without anyone asking after me at all. And I kept wondering, how strange it is that a question from someone I didn't know could make me feel like I still existed. I had started noticing this long before that bus ride, not because of any shock, but through the same scenes repeating day after day on buses, in cafes, in supermarket lines. People are very close to one another, shoulders brushing, hands passing by, yet their eyes avoid each other. Everyone is polite, everyone is proper. No one pushes, no one causes trouble, and no one asks whether anyone else is okay. I used to think that was respect, not disturbing others, not invading personal space, everyone having their own life. I lived that way too, sitting quietly, doing my part by not bothering anyone. I didn't blame it. I truly believed that was how society worked. You keep your distance, I keep mine. We leave each other alone. And in that calm, I didn't realize that I was slowly getting used to no one noticing my existence, so used to it that it no longer hurt. It was just their faint, dull, like background noise you eventually stop hearing. I don't know when I became accustomed to that feeling. Maybe when I stopped working. Maybe when the phone calls became fewer. Maybe when no one needed my opinion on important decisions anymore. No one did anything wrong. No one intentionally forgot me. But day after day, I was asked less, seen less, needed less. And I told myself that this was normal, that it was fine, that I had lived long enough, that the younger generation had their own lives. Then I began to notice something else. No one asked if I was tired. No one asked if I was sad. No one asked if I was okay. Not because they didn't care, but because everyone was busy living their own lives, carrying their own pressures and worries. And in that current, I became very easy to pass by. The feeling of invisibility doesn't arrive in a single day. It has no clear shape. It is built from thousands of very small moments, mornings when no one greets you, evenings when no one asks, days that pass in which your emotions are not needed by anyone. Slowly, you begin to believe that your feelings make no difference, that no one needs to know how you are feeling, that as long as you don't cause trouble, that is enough. I wasn't intensely sad. I wasn't desperate. I simply grew quiet. And that is why, when that man asked me that question on the bus, it didn't strike a fresh wound. It touched a very old emptiness. He did nothing special. He didn't put a hand on my shoulder. He didn't comfort me. He didn't ask anything else. It was just a question at the right moment. And in that moment, I realized I didn't need help. I didn't need advice. I didn't need anyone to solve my problems. I just needed to be seen, to have my presence acknowledged, to know that I was here, that my existence, however quiet, was still enough for someone to pause and ask. Maybe meaning doesn't disappear. Maybe it is simply waiting to be named. After that day, I thought a great deal about what had just happened, not about the man himself, as I can't even clearly remember his face, but about myself and about something I had misunderstood for many years. We are taught so much about relationships, how to connect, how to build them, how to stay in touch, but almost no one teaches us how to truly see one another in a very brief moment. We are taught to believe that care must come from people close to us, from family, from longtime friends, from those who have a reason to care about us. We believe that if someone truly matters to us, they will be the one to ask how we are. And that if no one asks, then perhaps we do not matter very much after all. I used to believe that too. I used to think that if my children were busy, if friends drifted away, if no one asked whether I was okay, it was simply because I had reached a stage of life where care was no longer necessary. But then I realized something else. Care does not disappear. It simply does not come along the path we expect. That man did not know who I was. He did not know how I had lived, what I had lost, or what I was carrying inside me, and he did not need to know. He did not ask out of duty or because of a relationship. He asked because in that moment he saw me. That was all. And that was what unsettled me. Because I had spent so many years believing that meaning had to come from big relationships, from long-lasting bonds, from people who stay in your life for a long time, when in fact sometimes meaning comes from someone who will never appear in your life again. That man did not change my life. He did not solve any of my problems. He did not instantly make me happier. He simply reminded me that I was still alive, that I could still be seen, and at 79 years old, that reminder was powerful. I began to understand that mattering is not about being remembered for a long time, not about having your name in someone else's story, not about leaving a big mark. Sometimes mattering is simply the moment when someone pauses, looks at you, and asks a very simple question, not because you are special, but because you are there. I thought about all the times I had not asked, not because I was uncaring, but because I thought it wasn't necessary, because I assumed the other person was fine, because I believed that if they needed something, they would say so. But many people do not speak. They simply remain silent, and that silence is not a sign of strength. It is often just a sign of having grown used to no one asking. We overvalue big actions and undervalue small moments. We think a question cannot do much, a glance cannot change anything. But I am living proof that a very small moment can leave a very long echo. I still take the bus every day at the same time, among the same tired faces and the same averted eyes. Nothing has changed on the outside, but inside me something has, because I no longer feel as though I completely disappear into the crowd. Not because I am noticed more, but because I know that somewhere at any moment there is still the possibility of being seen. And sometimes I can be the one who sees someone else. I don't know whether that man remembers me. He probably doesn't. But I remember him. And I understand now that meaning does not have to be big to exist. It only has to arrive at the right moment, and sometimes it only takes one person willing to ask. At 79, I no longer hold the illusion that I can go back and live differently. I cannot fix the years that have passed, reclaim the conversations that never happened, or return to ask the questions I should have asked sooner. But I can look at the world differently, slow down a little, pay a little more attention, and choose not to pass by others as quickly as before. I have begun asking myself very simple questions. Is there someone around me who has been silent for a very long time, someone who shows up every day, but has never been asked whether they are okay? Someone sitting next to me on a bus, in a cafe, or at work whom I have never truly seen. And I ask you this: when was the last time you truly asked someone if they were okay? Not out of politeness, not to end a conversation, but because you genuinely wanted to know. You may not receive a long answer. They may simply nod, smile, and turn away. But you will never know what happens inside someone just because you chose to pause for a few seconds. I don't think we need to do greater things. I think we simply need to be a little less invisible to one another. If this story makes you think of someone, share it with them. No explanation, no message needed. Just let them know that someone thought of them. And if you want, leave a line about a small question that once made you feel seen, because somewhere, someone may need to read exactly that today.